Hey guys, it's Andrea from the blog Pine and Prospect Home, and today I'm finally sharing our back entryway reveal with you. I called it a mudroom in my first post in which I shared this space with you guys. I guess it's not technically a mudroom, it's not really large enough to be a mudroom, but it kind of serves that purpose. This is where we come in, the boys kick off their shoes. Eventually the basement will be more of kind of the mudroom space. This is just sort of a landing area that kind of leads down to the basement, but also out our back door. So it's very dark and gloomy, and it's about to thunderstorm here. I think I'm gonna make some coffee later. So I've got all of my extra lighting on today. I apologize for the bright lights, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Trying to get this video in quick while the baby is sleeping. So if you haven't watched my mudroom plans video that I created, I want to point out something. I created that video back in June, might have been May, I think it was June, and it is now September. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea. June, July, August, September. So this space was 4 months in the making. So a lot of times we get discouraged when we see these quick makeovers that happen on HGTV or even on Instagram, but it's not like that all the time, especially if you have a young family like we do with lots of little children running around. And you know, sometimes makeovers happen quickly, but sometimes they take a lot of time. And that was definitely the case with this makeover, but we are so pleased with how it turned out. I can't even believe this space turned out so beautiful for such a tiny, compact area. Wow, did we fit in a whole lot of character, and I am just blown away by how beautiful it all turned out. If you've been following me over on Instagram, you might already be familiar with this space and know what we've done to it, because I've been kind of giving you updates and stories. But if you haven't, this is all new, and I'm sure either way you'd like a little bit of a recap. So let's go back to what this space looked like when we first started. It's been an eyesore ever since we moved in about 9 years ago. It just hasn't been a priority on our list of things to tackle in this home, and so it kind of took the back burner. And finally we were able to put some effort into this space, especially since our backyard area is one of my favorite areas to be in the summertime, and we have to go through this entryway to get outside if we're using the back door. So I kind of wanted it to look a little bit nicer, especially when guests use the back door for whatever reason. I wanted this space to be prettier. So the first thing that we had to address was the ceiling issue. In my video, I showed you guys that we had some water damage. My husband had to rip it open, and that ugly hole had been there for a couple of years. Finally, we decided just to cover it all up with beadboard. We'd had some extra paneling from a previous project, so we did that first and painted it all a beautiful bright white color. We just used a trim paint right off the shelf at our local True Value. And once all of that beadboard was up, originally we were going to just trim it out with, like, you know, a quarter round or a crown molding. And we had some extra beams from that barn that we used in our kitchen. So if you missed that video, we put some reclaimed beams in our kitchen from an old barn that was being burnt down here locally in our area. And since we had so many extra beams, I thought, is there a way that we could utilize those in this space? The ceilings are very tall when you walk in that back entry, so my husband had to get creative and set up this plank situation between two ladders. It was very scary to watch him work, but he took those extra beams and did this beautiful grid work pattern on the ceiling to cover up the seams in the beadboard, and it just looks gorgeous. They look original to the home. They have this lovely English cottage feel to them, and I am just absolutely in love with the way the beams turned out, and he just screwed them to the ceiling. I could not be more happy with the way the ceiling turned out. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The lantern we hung in this space used to be above our kitchen sink here in the kitchen, and it was just a clearance lantern from Lowe's. I picked it up for like 17 bucks. We hung that up in this space. It was perfect. We were able to reuse something we already have to save some money. So really we haven't spent a lot of money at all in this space. As far as the upper walls, I decided to go ahead and paint those a bright white. it's a pretty small space, so I didn't want the walls to feel like they were caving in on you. I wanted it to feel bright and open and airy. But what I did decide to do is paint the lower half of the space with that same beautiful gray paint color that you see behind me. It's Revere Pewter by Benjamin Moore, I believe. And I loved it in the kitchen, so I decided to carry it on through into this back entry area. And everything on the lower portion of the wall, including the doors and trim, were painted this beautiful color. Now, another thing I decided to do was pull off the hooks that we had used before and replace them with some shaker style knobs, knobs? Is that the word? I think I blanked out in my last video with the word as well. It's not knobs. What is it? Pegs. Pegs, right? Pegs. Oh my goodness, mom brain. Okay, so we left those just the natural wood color, and I think they accent beautifully against this pretty gray paint. So I really love the way that turned out. Obviously, when my boys come in from outside, they're hanging their jackets, coats, and everything else. Once the basement's finished and we have that closet finished downstairs, I would like to encourage them to bring their things downstairs so I can use these pegs for, you know, my garden tools and, you know, things like that. But for right now, when they come in from the pool, or I'm sure when they come in from playing in the snow, those pegs will be so useful for all of their winter coats and scarves and towels in the summertime, and I just love the way those look. The next thing that we did in this space, which I think made a huge impact, was we put new treads on the stairs. So when we moved into this space, this ugly sort of yellow linoleum tile was on the stairs and back entry area, and we just bought some more stick tiles to kind of cover up that ugly yellow. It was a cheap, quick DIY, something that at least covered up the yellow color, but I was never in love with that choice. It was just something we did, you know, kind of in the meantime. Well, we ripped all of those up, and my husband created new stair treads, and he also created new risers out of beadboard, and did some trim work, and it just turned out beautiful. I stained the treads. They're just made out of common pine boards, but I stained them with a mixture of weathered oak, pickled oak, and early American, and all by Midwex, and I just sort of play with the stains until I like the color. And I love the warmth that those wooden treads add to this space against the beautiful gray color. They tie in beautifully to the pegs that are on the walls. So finally, one of my favorite things about this space was, of course, the brick flooring that we laid. It's not real brick. These are tiles made to look like brick. We definitely splurged a little bit on this tile, but it was such a small space that I really thought it would make such a beautiful impact and add that beautiful shaker cottage style that I love so much. And we chose a off-white grout color. I believe it was alabaster, I think is the color. I'll try to link it for you guys in the blog post, but I am in love with these floors. My husband did such a good job laying the tile, and oh, it's just so beautiful, and the whole space just came together so well. Of course, you're seeing sneak peeks, I'm sure, of the basement stairs and kind of the tile down there and the railing my husband added. That is all going to come soon in a future blog post. I plan on giving you a little basement update now that all the trim is done. We just have to paint downstairs, and we're pretty much done with that laundry area. And I just can't wait to show you that space. So it all kind of ties in together, but for now I'm just focusing on this back entry area. I kept the decor really simple in this space, just hung some hats, some garden tools, a few pretty stems in a basket, and then I found this really cheap, like $2 peg rack at a thrift store that I hung up here, and I think it ties really well to the pegs on the opposite wall. So the decor was kept very simple. Now, you might remember those vintage rakes that I found at the garage sale back in the spring. I shared those with you. I was specifically looking for old like garden tools to hang in this space. So I'm gonna show you a picture quick of my husband holding one up. I cannot decide. Should I hang these antique rakes or should I leave the wall blank and empty? I'm so torn. Originally I thought I would put them on that long wall that leads down to the basement, but they're too tall for that, and both of them don't fit on that wall. I know I could cut them down, but I didn't really want to have to do that, so you guys are gonna have to let me know. Should I put the rakes long ways, or horizontal I guess I should say, on this wall as you enter the back entry area, or should I just use them somewhere else? Maybe I can use them for some decor down in the laundry area or the mudroom area space. So give me your opinions. I'd love to hear in the comments below. Other than that, I'm in love with the way this space turned out. It is absolutely beautiful, and I'm so excited now to go out my back door. I hated going out this back entry before. Whenever we had bonfires or people came over, I was so embarrassed whenever they went in through the back entry, and now I'm just like delighted for them to enter in through the back entry because it's seriously so beautiful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna make myself a cup of coffee now and probably sit down and get a little bit of work done, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new to my channel, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.